Back in September 2023, I was sitting in a workshop with a coach named Julia. She goes by Dolpinin on Instagram. And I remember that she asked all of us to build a vision board. I started, pasting things down like music, singing, performing live, taking care of my body, things I genuinely wanted for myself. And then my voice broke. And it was not because anything went wrong, but because I saw myself maybe for the first time in years. I remember I was explaining my vision board to the room and I couldn't finish my sentences. I started crying in front of a group of people I barely knew over pictures of things I used to do, things I had quietly put away while I was busy taking care of everyone else. That day, I realized something. The person I had been neglecting the most was me. And today we're going to talk about that, about what it looks like to abandon your relationship with yourself and what it actually takes to come back. Welcome back to Say I Am Possible, the podcast. I am Angela Bendeck. We spend a lot of time thinking about our relationships with our partners, our kids, our coworkers, our friends. And we read a lot of books about communication and love languages and conflict resolution. And all that matters. But there's one relationship that rarely gets the same attention, the one with ourselves. And I've come to believe it's the foundation everything else is built on. When that relationship is broken, when we've abandoned our own dreams, silenced our own needs, or put ourselves last for so long, we've forgotten what we even want. It shows up everywhere, in our marriage, in our parenting, in how we show up at work. Today, we are going to look at what that abandonment actually looks like in daily life, why it happens, and what three books, The Big Leap, Love and Respect, and Los Límites del Amor, all agree we need to do about it. Let's start simple. What does it even mean to have a relationship with yourself? I think of it this way. It's the same things that make a relationship with another person healthy: honesty, trust, consistency, and actually showing up. The question is whether we extend those things to ourselves. Do we keep the promises we make to ourselves? Do we allow ourselves to feel what we feel without immediately shutting it down? Do we take up our own space? Or do we constantly shrink to make room for everyone else? Gay Hendricks in The Big Leap talks about what he calls the upper limit problem. The idea that every one of us has a hidden ceiling on how much joy, love, and success we'll allow ourselves to experience. When life feels too good, too full, too happy, something in us pulls it back down. We start a fight, we sabotage our project, we tell ourselves we don't deserve it. And here's what hit me when I first read that: the ULP doesn't just affect our careers, it lives right in the middle of our most intimate relationships, including our relationship with ourselves. That vision board moment, that was my ULP. I had set a ceiling on my own life, and I didn't even know I was doing it. Here's how this usually shows up, and I'm speaking from experience, not theory. For me, it looked like the DISC personality profile. When I did the test, I came back as a high S, the social type, the caregiver, the person who scans a room and makes sure Everyone is okay before they allow themselves to be okay. If someone around me was struggling, it felt like I didn't have permission to be well, like my well being was contingent on everyone else's. And so, quietly and consistently, I put my needs at the end of the list: my music, my health, my creative life. They all waited and waited and waited. Walter Rizzo in Los Límites del Amor, which is translated The Limits of Love, How to Love Without Giving Up Who You Are, he calls this emotional dependency. It's the gradual erosion of your own identity inside a relationship, whether that's a marriage, a family, or a company. You fuse so completely with the people around you that you lose the thread back to yourself. And Emerson Eggerichs in Love and Respect adds something important with his concept of the crazy cycle. He describes how couples can get locked in a self reinforcing loop. One person pulls back, the other reacts, which causes the first person to pull back further. No one is the villain, but both are just responding to the response. What I find powerful is that this same cycle can happen internally. I feel guilty for working on my music, for example. So then I stop. Then I feel resentful. Then I feel guilty for feeling resentful. The cycle feeds itself, and I was both people in it. Hendricks names the specific behaviors: criticism, blame, emotional withdrawal, withholding appreciation. For me, the withdrawal was all directed inward. I was withholding appreciation from myself, refusing to say, "This matter, I matter." That is exhausting to carry. And so many of us are carrying it right now. We've looked at what it feels like to lose the thread back to yourself, and why, for those of us wired to take care of everyone else first, it happens so quietly we barely notice. Coming up, the three shifts that Hendricks, Egerich, and Rizzo all agree on, and what it looks like to actually practice them, not just understanding them. I want to take a moment to tell you about something close to my heart. Say I Am Possible started as a song. It became a podcast. And now it's a community of people who are choosing every day to believe in what's possible for themselves. If you want to carry a piece of that with you literally, I have a small collection of t-shirts, mugs, and everyday items at angelabendeck.tmail.com. Each piece is designed with purpose and meaning. And every time you pick one up, you're not just getting something for yourself. You are helping keep this show alive. The link is in the description, like I told you. Go take a look. Welcome back. We were talking about what it looks like when we abandon our relationship with ourselves. The quiet erosion that happens when we keep putting everyone else first. Now, let's talk about what we do about it. All three books point to the same foundation, just from different angles. Here's how I put it together. Step 1. Take 100% responsibility. Hendricks is direct about this. To change a dynamic, we have to own our part in it fully, not 50%, not my half, 100%. For me, that meant stopping the story that I was just a victim of my own schedule, that I didn't have time, that everyone else needed me, that the music would have to wait. Taking responsibility meant admitting I was the one choosing this. Every day, I was choosing everyone else, and I could choose differently. That is not a comfortable realization, but it's the only one that opens a door. Step 2, protect your individuality. Both Hendrix and Rizzo are clear on this. And it surprised me when I first read about this. They say that when we don't take time to reconnect with ourselves, we don't become more selfless. We actually become more reactive. We start picking fights, creating distance, manufacturing conflict just to get the breathing room we should have taken consciously and without conflict. In my experience, protecting my individuality means guarding my golden hours, the morning hours when my mind is clearest and most creative. Those are the hours I give to my music, to the podcast, to the sessions with Martin in the UK. There are days when the excitement of a project is so strong that I would wake up at 4 a.m. if I had to. And I have. But what matters is not the specific hour. What matters is that I protect a time that belongs to me. These are luxuries. They are the things that keep me whole so I can actually show up for the people I love. My husband told me recently that he admires my persistence, and my kids are pursuing their own dreams now. And I have to believe that watching me doing this, watching me fighting for my own creative life, even when it's hard, it's part of why. Step 3, offer yourself genuine appreciation. This one comes from Hendrix most directly, but it connects to everything. Hendrix says the most powerful tool for moving past your upper limit in relationships is the regular expression of genuine appreciation. He means this toward others, but I think it starts closer to home. When I feel the guilt come, and it still comes, when I am editing the podcast at 4 a.m., or when I sit down to write a song, I now have a practice. I don't push the feeling down. I notice where it lives in my body, and I tell myself, this is just my upper limit. This guilt is not truth. This is the ceiling trying to hold me back. The practice that has helped me most is Vipassana meditation. It is not about emptying my mind. It's about noticing the sensation, accepting it, and letting it pass without acting on it. The equanimity I find there is not indifference, it's stability. It's the ground I stand on when the guilt tries to pull me under. And if you'd like to learn more about Vipassana meditation, I left the link in the description below. None of this is done. I still feel it, but now I have a name for it, a practice for it, and evidence, in my husband's words, in my kids' choices, that it's worth it. I'd like you to walk away with this today. The relationship with yourself is not a luxury. It is the relationship that makes all the others possible. When we abandon it, even with the best intentions, even out of love for the people around us, we slowly become less of ourselves. And then we wonder why we feel empty. Choosing yourself doesn't mean turning your back on the people you love. It doesn't mean their needs stop mattering. It means making a conscious decision to also have time for yourself, to make sure your own needs are covered too, alongside theirs. That's not selfishness, that's sustainability. We are not selfish for having dreams. We are not selfish for needing space. We are not selfish for crying over a vision board at 50 something because we finally saw how long we've been waiting. That moment of seeing yourself, really seeing yourself, that is not a breakdown. That is the beginning. And this is what I'd like you to try this week. Make your own vision board. It doesn't have to be fancy. You can use paper, scissors, a magazine, or even a notes app. But spend 20 minutes putting down what you want, not what you want for your family, not what you want for your career in service of others. What do you really want? And notice what comes up. If you feel guilt or embarrassment, or the sense that this is self indulgent, write that down too. That reaction is information. That is your upper limit introducing itself. Send me a DM at Angela Bendeck and tell me what you put on your board. I want to see it. If this episode landed for you, the single best thing we can do for each other is pass it along. Send it to one person who needed to hear this: a friend, a sister, a colleague who is quietly putting themselves last. That's how this community grows, one person at a time. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now so you never miss another episode of Say I Am Possible, the podcast. Thank you for being here today with me. I'll see you in the next one.
Say me. Whatever I want.